Yo, there are some people in this show that just stress me out when they come onto the screen and they be talking that BS. Okay, you know what? I'm not even gonna sit here and just like not even name names. Hazley, Chanel West Coast, we talking about you.
What's going on YouTube?
Jamar,
What's going on YouTube?
Washington,
This your boy here once again.
What's going on, YouTube? This your boy Jamar Ford here once again, here to talk about love and hip hop Atlanta, Hollywood, season 4, episode. What is this? 10, I think. I for some reason nowadays when I watch Love and Hip Hop, like my blood pressure go up because they just do and say some of the dumbest things, and it just makes me like, well, why? But why though? I don't understand. Either way, we're gonna talk about it. It's not necessarily play by play. It's just kind of bunched up into chunks. So I'm gonna start off on a positive note. Keisha Cole. So Zale and her cousin, I think his name Maquisha, I believe is her name, want to set Keisha Cole up on a blind date. Now Keisha's kind of in that headspace to where like, look, I've already done the kind of the love thing. Y'all know from my music that love ain't really the most, successful thing that's going on in my life. So, I ain't really pressed about having no man, but if you feel like something could come of it, if you want to do it as a friend, I'll go on a blind date. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of blind dates, and just because even though your friends, now I haven't had this happen to me personally, but I would just imagine even your friends, even if they've known you for a long time, they still may not know who you actually would like. They may have an idea, but they still don't have the same perspective that you have. I don't know. It just seems like they can never really get it right. Like I just have to choose for myself. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, so she's set up for this blind date. Her and her cousin go to the house, and she says that she has to have Booby come and babysit their son while she's out. Now, when this is a situation that comes up every time two people who used to be together, who used to have this, really long term or deep love for one another at one point, and they had this extended relationship. Whenever that breaks off for whatever reason, usually cheating, and they try to become friends and copacetic after that. While you're both are single, it's fine, usually. But the moment that one of you starts to date again, there's always that weird energy of, I was cool, I was fine when you weren't, necessarily with anybody else. But when you start to date again, then it kind of gets like into a place of where I'm like low key comparing myself to the person. Maybe feeling some type of way, like, oh, he probably can't do what I do, or whatever. Like, there's always that weird energy, and it's not like, well, depending on every case is different. It's not like we don't want you to be happy, but sometimes if two people who were in love once upon a time break up and they start dating other people, if you don't have somebody else to kind of date and exude their energy towards, but they do, it's gonna be weird. It's a y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all been there. Well, some of y'all out there know what I'm talking about. I can't find the words right now, but y'all know. So, and you can kind of tell that was kind of the energy between Booby and Keisha. So she goes on this blind date with Juwan. Now, I'm not even gonna lie, Juwan was not the most there's no nice way to say this. I tried to come up with the most elegant. He was not the most visually appealing person. And you know what? Honestly, now that I just said that, it's not even so much that. I think it was how he behaved and some of the things that he said just felt very corny. And not the cute corny, because there's a cute corny. But it just I felt bad for Keisha. I felt uncomfortable for Keisha, and she was not with it. As soon as she sat down, she could feel it. I could feel it. We was there together. We was there, Keisha. We was there together. Cause he said, first of all, that he DM'd her cousin to get to her, and I guess try to get to the line of communication where you can, but at the same time, to saying to me that you slid in my cousin's DM just sounds bad. Even if all the intention is there, if you tell me that you slid in my cousin's DM to get to me, it's kind of like, So he was trying to, say all this cute stuff, talk about, when was the last time you've been on a date? She's like, it's been a long time. And he trying to, push up, say, what he could probably do for her, this, that, and the fourth. Keisha was like, look, I really don't need none of that. I got a vibrator. And that's real. Honestly, if you already know the game, if you already kind of know and sense that somebody going to be on that stuff that you ain't really trying to be with, look, sometimes you just got to do things yourself. Can't nobody do it better than you. Okay? Because when you're dealing with other people, you got to deal with a whole set of new issues, potential issues and stuff. Sometimes it's better to just be by yourself. If you're not in the space to accept another person's baggage and issues, it's better to just be by yourself. And I think that's kind of where Keisha is. Like, she doesn't feel the need to have a man. If one comes along, great, fine. But she says, I'm not looking for a man, I'm looking for love. However, you can't really find love without the man, though. So I was like, Keisha, rewrite that one. Because, I see what you were trying to go for, but just redo it. Just redo it. So that was the happier, non-dramatic part of the episode. Okay. Hazel-E is there with Rose Burgundy. I hate that name. I liked it and then I hated it now. I don't know. And he's there to meet her mom. I don't want to say he. And the mom comes, and really, the mom pretty much does what any mother, or not even just a mom, a family member, like if you dating somebody that I care about, and if I meet you, there's some things I'm gonna want to ask you, okay? Because if you dating somebody, I don't want them to be hurt by something that you do, okay? And I want to make sure that they are, gonna be okay financially, emotionally, things like that. Are they gonna be supportive of my loved one? All of that. So Mama was asking all these questions, but before she could even open her mouth, the dude, after he met the mama, he's gonna ask, can we do an Instagram video? An Instagram and Mama was kind of looking like, okay, hi. Like, who does that? You are meeting your significant other's mom for the first time and you pull out your phone to do an Instagram video? I think from then on, my mother already checked out like, okay, no, this dude has the maturity of an 18-year-old. I can't. And then just to make it worse, she was like, okay, what do you do? Because that's going to be a question that's going to be asked, especially by your significant other's parents, guardians, family members, or what have you. They're going to want to know what you do. Because I know for me, I haven't had a significant other to bring around my whole family yet. But I know on my dad's side, they're gonna be fine. They're gonna be calm. You know, they're gonna be accepting, loving, and all that stuff. My mama's side of the people, they're gonna be the one like the CSI agent. They're gonna sit him down and question him and grill him and just not basically haze him. So that's why I can't bring I can't bring nobody around that side of my family. But he could even tell his girlfriend's mom what he does as a living. And he was like, you know, I do everything. I make sure she gets ready for work. I make sure that she has everything that she needs. Because from what it made, he tried to make it not sound like he was just her assistant, low key, and that she was the one funding his lifestyle, basically. And then when he sees that's not really working, he tries to go into the, I write her stuff. And Hazel's like, no. And she's like, you know, you didn't make her. I literally made her, you know? And it was just like this whole stuff. So she's like, could you give us a minute? She's like, no, not at all. That is a child. And she's like, well, what about that other boy that we like? His name was Booby. So then we get this whole backstory about how Hazel and Booby apparently had a thing once upon a time. Her mama really liked Booby. And I guess she gonna try to persuade him and get with him. I'm like, good luck, girl. We'll see how that go. So we'll come back to Hazel later. Trust me. AD wants to throw this event for her, whatever line. You know how they do these events at Love and Hip Hop Channel. So they're doing this event, and he wants to invite Tiff and Moniece to come bury the hatchet. And Moniece is trying to be cordial as she can. As you know, she said, you know what? I'm going to invite her over to the side. I'm going to apologize. I'm going to try. I really am going to try. However, Tiffany wouldn't have it. Okay, Tiffany just went in there not even with the notion of even making peace whatsoever. Like, she said she tried, or she said she was sorry. She was like, I mean, I really don't care. Like, I feel like you're supposed to go meet, you know, I'm still not going to apologize to you. Like, AD was like, okay, now Moniece apologized. Tiffany was like, are you going to apologize? She was like, no. And it's like she's saying all this stuff that apparently AD said to her about her being annoying, how she's ready to leave and break up and blah, blah, blah. And apparently Moniece is like, well, AD told me that you're this crazy or this whatever kind of nasty girl, whatever that was. And AD's kind of looking like, well, dang, I confided in y'all in moments of, you know, emotional heightens, you know, but dang, y'all just go put all my business out there. Use my, well, you know, my confidential talks with each one of y'all, and y'all gonna use it as jabs to each other? That's messed up. So basically, ain't no no unity gonna be going on between Tiffany and Moniece no time soon, honestly. So then Moniece and AD kind of fight about that whole thing, and then they talk about they want to break up. And I'm like, I mean, you may not need to break up, but y'all definitely need some space because she wants to have a relationship with Tiffany. Tiffany wants to have a relationship with AD. It's just too much. We just need to just get away from one another just for a while, just to get our lives together. My Lord. Okay. What happened next, child? Okay, here we go. Here we go with the mess. Here we go with the mess. So Hazel and Chanel West Coast get together and they talk about, you know, they just all of a sudden are bosom buddies, even though they were scrapping in the gravel a few episodes ago. They talk about, they want to meet over there with A1 and them because they're going to, you know, he's a hit producer. He can get them a track. He can get you a track. We can both be popping or whatever. So, excuse me. I was holding that one in for a while. They go over there and, you know, she mentions how, you know, hey, I heard you, you know, producer, you're hot, this, that, the fourth. You know, I want to know if we could work together. Now, A1 got some cool points for me because this would be me. This was so me in this moment because he said, well, there was some time ago, before I was popping and before I had this name and all this fame and money, when I was still up and coming, and I approached you like, hey, would you work with me or whatever? And you had your shades on. I don't even know if you was paying me no attention or looking at me or whatever. And you basically played me like I was not anything to be worried about or was relevant or worth your time, basically. So now that I am something and I have kind of caught your attention, it's a no from me. And it's like, you can't, and he made a good point, like, in the industry, you can't just be out here throwing shade and treating people like they're less than when they, just coming into the business. Because if that person does blow up, and then you may end up needing that person. So it's best to just be humble and be able to be open to working with a plethora of people, especially when it comes to areas like music or just any kind of creative, industry. So Chanel got shut down, and somewhere along the line, I missed it. I was unable to follow of how when she was mentioning, I guess she was having something with Charlamagne on the Breakfast Club, and he was dissing her, and she said something like, well, if Charlamagne's dissing me, like he's dissed other rappers like Kanye and Drake, so that's putting me way up there with Kanye and Drake. I'm like, whoa. That's not how that works. That is not how that works at all. I don't know what logic you just spun up in your mind just now to associate you with two of the biggest rap names so out right now. You're loving hip hop. And you've done, what's that, Ridiculousness on some random show on MTV nobody's really watched? Like, no. Aim high. It's great to aim high, but don't shoot off prematurely is all I'm saying. And then Hazel E starts calling, starts talking to Marcus about Brooke, calling her a little bitch or whatever. And Marcus is like, wait a minute. Me and Brooke may not be on the same page right now, but what you will not do is sit here in front of me and disrespect her. So he was like, I don't know who you think you are or whatnot. And he was like, she's doing this whole my LA thing. I run this city, this, that, and the fourth. I'm like, they said there must be 2 LAs. And he's like, shit, there must be 4 LAs because I kind of run the city. Y'all coming to me for production. So, I'm kind of run LA if you're trying to use that logic. And she's talking about she lit and how she's selling, she sold a book that sold out in the first week. First of all, comment below if you knew that Hazel E had a book out. Comment below if you Googled that book. I need to know that book actually exists. Okay? And then she said it sold out the first week. Well, girl, honestly, let's say you only print 10 copies and give 4 to your family, give 5 to your friends and neighbors. Well, if you only printed those 10 copies, of course they're going to sell out. Like, who is checking for Hazel E or checking for anything that she has to say in printed form? Who? I want to know. Because it ain't me. And I'm just like, Hazel, stop the foolishness, child. Stop the foolishness. And then she continues the foolishness because Booby has his performance. And now, Bridget, you was cool, but now you being shady. You doing a little bit much right about now because she had a session with Marcus, trying to help her get her image together, or at least talk about what she wants to do. And apparently her and Marcus go way back, so she's going to be on Marcus' side. Brooke comes to Bridget at Booby's event, talks about, how she still loves Marcus, but she had this whole situation with Booby, and it, things just happened or whatever. She's confused, she's torn, what have you, whatever. And she asks, like he hasn't been returning my phone calls. Have you seen Booby? I mean, no. Have you seen Marcus? And Bridget sits right up in Brooke's face and lies and says, no, I have not seen Marcus, saying in her confessional that she's just trying to keep herself out of it. I'm like, but that's still messy though. Like, it just makes you look bad, honestly. It's just like, but why lie? Like, even if you seen them and are working together, I mean, are you afraid not to pass the message? Are you afraid to be caught up in the middle? Maybe, but still it just makes you look bad. So Hazel come up in there. Of course, Brooke ain't with it. Calling them brooches or whatever. Booby does his show, and Hazel goes in after them and starts hugging on him. It's like, you gotta beat a sweat, and you should take off your jacket or whatever. At this point, Brooke is like had enough. She's like, Booby, baby, and starts hugging all up on him. And of course, Hazel has to start the jab like, oh, you let your fans come behind the tape. And then Brooke is like, we just gave you some time to sign some autographs. And of course, they just gonna start going back at it over and over. And I'm just like, oh, please. And then when she starts talking about how she did this, she did that, she's done this, we're just like, Hazel, a real bad bitch doesn't have to run off her accolades. They precede her. Okay? You don't hear, well, actually, yes, you do sometimes. I was going to say, like, some people like Beyonce and Nicki Minaj, but then they both kind of do that. Like, Beyonce talked about, that digital drop made the world stop. And, of course, Nicki consistently talks about her accolades. But it's still, it's just not a good look, especially as somebody of your level. Like, if you are the Beyonce and Nicki Minaj, then you have done enough to gloat. Okay? You've done enough to gloat. You have not. Okay, Hazel, you have not done enough to gloat. So, you trying to run off, and Bridget called you Miss Wikipedia. I'm just saying, that's what it was. For real. So, after they done did their barking and, whatnot, back and forth, then Bridget turns on Brooke and was like, well, I'm just kind of feeling the type of way because you're supposed to be with Marcus and you sitting up here champagning over Booby more than you do with Marcus. And Brooke is kind of like, where did you come from? I thought I know you ain't talking about me being with other men because let's not talk about how many times you cheated on your man James. Let's talk about that. Oh gosh, it was just a mess. But that was Love and Hip Hop, y'all. I don't want this video to be too long. Make sure y'all like, comment, and share if you're watching the videos. Thank y'all so much for y'all support. And I'm about to actually go ahead and watch American Horror Story, this episode 3, and that'll be up later on, probably at the same time as this one, child. But thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Like, share, subscribe.
Jamar,
Washington.